And welcome back to the Suchsland Show. Happy June 7th. This is wrong. Shout out, that's now correct. I do record the intro at the end of the show, so that is tough. That's been wrong the entire time. It was May 31st for the rest of the show. It is now June 7th. Shout out June 7th. But I have a great show prepared for you guys today. We are going to talk we'll start at congratulations to Nelly Korda on winning the U.S. LPGA and the U.S. Women's Open at Riviera. We'll go talk a little F1 Monaco this week. We'll go into a lot of bit of the not Canadian, we're the Mortal at the Muirfield Village this week. We'll touch a little bit on the Canadian Open for next week, and then I will fully just get into, honestly, a depressive state, a little bit about the Bears. I've went from rage to just sadness a little bit more on it. So we'll talk Cubs, we'll talk Bears, we'll talk all that stuff. Stick around at the end to hear my fucking take on the Bears and that fucking shit show that's going on right now. First, you know what time it is. Play my music. Before we get back to the podcast, shout out to Golf on NET. If you're anything like me and you want to play more golf, but your wallet has other ideas, Golf on NET gives you the access to participating courses in your area for one flat annual rate, which means more rounds and fewer excuses. The way I look at it, if you're already spending money on golf balls, hot dogs, and that new club you definitely don't need, you might as well play more golf this season. Check out my friends at Golf and NET and start playing more golf this season. Let's start off. Where do we want to start? A lot to talk about today. Let's start off with Nelly. Congratulations to Nelly Korda on winning the Women's U.S. Open. It was Nelly's second major victory of the season, back-to-back major wins. Looked like it was a little contentious. Not, I guess contentious isn't the right word. Little fun little leaderboard there we had coming down. There was a lot of people at that 600 number. I think we had 4 or 5 people at that number. It looked like a little bit we were going to go to a 4-way playoff for the LPGA at Riviera. Nelly came out, made a birdie, I believe, on 17 or 16 to knock it down and win by a stroke. So congratulations to Nelly Korda. Great to see Riviera. Riviera, one of the better, in my opinion, courses for the PGA Tour, and definitely held up for the LPGA also. Hand up, right? I only watched today, did not watch as much as I would have liked to. Played too much golf this week, and I was watching F1. But great. I'm a big fan of Nelly, and Nelly is absolutely lighting a fire, winning back-to-back majors for this season. And I don't know, I didn't write down when the next one is, but if you're a betting man, which I consider myself one, I'd take Nelly coming up in the next one here, because she looks like her game's in absolute prime condition right now. Watching her play the back nine today, it's incredible how good her putter was today is what I really noticed watching her play. Just absolutely rolls a rock and just so confidently. It was just such a good stroke. Where else was? Shout out also Charlie Hall. That's one of my other favorite golfers. She looked like she was going to be in there today. She was finished at a 600 number and looked like she had a good chance. But that's where Nelly made it in there. But also a great finish by her. Moving on, let's talk F1. So Monaco. And it was cool, right? I definitely was not as cool as I maybe brought in my head. And I'll fully admit, I only maybe thought it was that cool because of Iron Man 2. I think there was one reason why I thought Monaco was cool, and it's solely based on the fact of Iron Man 2. It's really it, I think. There's really nothing else that I think that's, being an outsider until this year. I was like, well, Monaco is like the Super Bowl. It clearly is a Super Bowl. So, it's cool. Not a lot of overtaking, but we had a good race, right? We had a good race. Congratulations, like I've said in the last 4 times. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli on his another win. At this point, I think the only thing you can call him is a force of nature, because whether it's a little rainy conditions, whether it's a fucking fast lap like they had in Canada, whether it's they're fighting back and forth like they were in Miami a couple weeks ago, or whether it's just race your fucking dick off and these tight-ass turns, Kimi looks like he's got it down right now, and especially with the other car, Russell, looking like he didn't have a ton of pace today. Well, he looked like he had some pace, and then really at the end of it, really something really happened and just lost a lot. But Kimi he qualifies in 1. He is fast. I don't see right now. How anyone beats Kimi at this point, right? I think we're 6 races in. This Barcelona will be 6. It's very early on. There's a lot of people that will bring upgraded packages on. They had obviously, Mercedes had testing on these new cars before everyone else did that was coming into the season. But still, it is very, very, very impressive what Kimi has done so far. And I think he's very much on his way to a championship title. And if he doesn't, we have a much more interesting storyline coming on the year if Kimi somehow does blow this, or we have another car or another driver or another team stepping up to take the title from him. Because that's really, really where we are at this point, is that someone's going to have to take the title away from Kimi Antonelli, because he is absolutely, absolutely dominating right now, F1, and he looks so good. A couple other tough race for Max. Qualified P2. Good start. Maybe have a winner on Monaco, and it just car craps out for him. Very, very funny quotes by him after his car crapped out on literally the first lap. He was like, well, they're asking him, what are you going to do? And he's like, dude, I live like meters. Like, so what's 500 meters? Like feet? I have no idea. But he said, like, oh, I live X number. I live 500 meters away. So he just went home. Like, well, that's the benefit of living in Monaco, and you can just kind of fuck off to your really nice apartment and probably go watch the Monaco Grand Prix from your Monaco apartment. It sounds like, or probably from your yacht. That's how he probably also just went back and hung out at his yacht for the day. You heard it here first. I think the Max Verstappen and Red Bull relationship ends this year. I think we are watching our final year as Max Verstappen as a Red Bull racer. I think the Monaco race, I think there's been a whole lot of what I would maybe call hand fighting going on in the year, but that today seems like, qualifying P2 and not even making it 10 feet off the start is a tough. And it seemed like he was an apathetic at this point, where he's done. He's maybe had some conversations with some other people behind the scenes. Shit's over. Let's move on, maybe for all parties at this point. Before we get into more of the golf, thank you to one of my partners over at Vice Golf. Look, we're not tour players. We're hitting trees, cart paths, and maybe the fairway. This is why I play Vice Golf. Premium performance without paying premium prices every time I donate a ball to the woods. If you need to stock up this season, head over to Vice Golf and use code KYLE, KYLE, at checkout to save money on your order. Interesting by him. Funny moment. So Pierre Gasly claims a third place victory, or third place from driving, right, before time penalties. And he doesn't know that he has a couple time penalties yet for speeding in the pit lanes. So he's driving around Monaco, fucking celebrating, like, let's go, P3, podium, baby. And this motherfucker, nada. Literally seventh place. It's like, hey, I think you scored like 11 points in the championship. So good for you. Take your fist and go. Hey, 7th place, Pierre. Sucks for him. Obviously, I don't think his team told him that he had that penalty yet, so we didn't really know. But that's just such a tough moment when you're driving or in Monaco, celebrating that you just won the Monaco, that you're gonna make a podium in Monaco, and it's like, hey, well, what'd I get? 4th? No. 5th? 6th? No, dude, you're in 7th. Tough conversation after you get done with racing in Monaco all day. Like I said earlier with Kimi, strange race by Russell. He looked like he had some pace for about the first, 3 quarters of the race. And then all of a sudden with the restart, it just all went. Kimi and Lewis went flying after the restart. And George literally held the entire pack up. And then I think pitted or something else happened. And he had to go, and he ended up finishing in 14th place. So not great rust by George Russell. Obviously, my pick to win the championship this year. I had the team right, at least, right? The Russell, it honestly makes even Kimi's race more impressive, that it seemed like maybe he didn't, that he crapped the car out by his driving or something happened, and Kimi ended up just fastest lap, win, dub, easy by him, race number 5. Another tough race from my McLaren boys. Just a bad race for Lando. Just honestly a tough season so far by Lando. Really has been questioning whether I really do like him, because his interviews are really bitch made, and it's really seems like Netflix may have done a big job boistering him up. He doesn't seem as likable when you're seeing the raw reactions and stuff he's doing, and you see him on Netflix, pretty cool. They do a good job making him look pretty cool. When you watch the races, he doesn't look as cool. Looks kind of douchey. Same thing with Russell, honestly. Not great people to watch race. Now, Oscar's great. Kind of, he doesn't get a ton of attention as far as Lando does in the bitch-wise. But Oscar's honestly looked far stronger than Lando has at this point of the season. So we'll see how it goes, but not the race so far, not the season so far for Lando or McLaren, honestly, at all. I mean, defending so much of these titles from last year, they're not even close. They're not even able to get around the track. Oscar is looking stronger, but at the end of the day, I don't see anyone beating Kimi. How does anyone beat Kimi going on? I don't think it happens right now. I think we will talk about the Barcelona Grand Prix in a little bit. That's the next race next week. I see Kimi running away with this, and I don't even see anything else. So, also shout out Sergio Perez, snuck in there for Cadillac and did get his Cadillac's first points of the season. I think I did see another graphic that said Fernando Alonso snuck in there, so maybe if that was something, if I do have that wrong, shout out me, that I remember that one graphic I saw. So it was either Sergio Perez or Fernando Alonso. I could Google it, but I don't want to. So one of those two, I'm just going to say it was Sergio Perez. We'll just say that, because that's the last thing I saw. Got his first points for Cadillac. And if they don't, that sucks for them. How do we do? We not bad, because my strategy of saying Kimi's a fucking best driver out there right now, let's just pick fucking Kimi and move on, was pretty good. Charles was doing good until the podium, so we'll take that as a half win, but that's a loss. And then top 10 from Lando. Lando was doing okay before this car fucked up too, so we'll take that as a half. So we'll really say 2, but really we're gonna probably say 1 and 2 this week. Brings our total of 55% on the season. But I got you guys for next week. I got you guys for Barcelona. We are coming through a much smarter show for you guys for Barcelona showing. I did some research and we got it. So this is fun. This is the first time we've had it this season where we are back-to-back races. We are just a mere 7 days away again from having another race under the belts. We are racing in Barcelona this week. The internet is telling me that this track lends itself to a lot of upgrades. A lot of teams purchase upgrades going into this track. A lot of is it raining? I think so. A lot of teams and a lot of things. This is a great place to test out, especially after Monaco, where you're not really gonna make. It's not really a great look at some of it because more of it's just such a tight course and so much of it is just braking and drivability rather than just full out engine power. Where it seems like from what the internet's saying, we're a little bit back to that next week. So much more of a conventional track. It seems like overtakes were obviously at a premium today. It does not seem like that's going to be for next weekend, that we will have back to our usual driving straight down a straightaway and losing power because of your battery didn't charge it right. So that's cool. Going into the picks, you guys might call me like picking favorites here, but I don't see anyone's faster than Kimi. I would be honestly, I would be at this point surprised if I'm sitting here next week and we're talking about the Barcelona Grand Prix without a Kimi win. I think it was a very easy. I think he was the fastest one out there right now, and he's going to continue being the fastest one out there. He's driving with his fucking nutsack on his forehead. So P1, Kimi Antonelli. Podium, we'll take Lewis again. Lewis has looked two podiums, I think 2 second places. But overall, he seems like he's kind of figuring out the Ferrari car a little bit, while Charles is getting just pissier and pissier at it. So we'll take another podium from Lewis. And then we're going to give him a comeback, saying Max will not have the line cannot have 2 bad weeks in a row. We'll take Max for a top 10 victory from Max right now. We'll see how it is this week. So shout out F1, very fun race. Barcelona woke up this morning and it was just racing. And I think it'll be the same thing in Barcelona next week with a time change, with a time difference between us and them. So I think that's pretty fun, having a cup of coffee and watching it rather than getting drunk. Hey, I did enjoy the Japan, getting drunk and watching it in Japan too. So I'm sure we'll have more of those opportunities later in the year too. So shout out drinking. And moving on, want to thank one of the partners of today's video, X Golf Libertyville. Whether the weather stinks, it's dark after work, or you're just looking for a place to settle the score with your buddies, X Golf Libertyville has you covered. You can play world-class courses, dial in your numbers, grab a drink, and keep the golf season going all year long. If you're in the area, check out X Golf Libertyville and tell them Birdie or Bogey sent you. Now, back to making questionable takes on golf. This is a golf show, so let's talk golf. Memorial at Muirfield. So I talked a lot about, we obviously, Muirfield, one of the better courses. It did seem like it did get a little rain, so it did play soft again, and like we always talk about, right? We didn't have a ton of wind. It was playing pretty soft. So they were able to light it up a little bit more in the inning, so the course didn't held up as it usually sometimes would, just because it didn't have as much teeth as sometimes you would see at other Muirfield at other times. But we get water, and it's gonna be hard to do. But it ended up having a very good tournament overall. So congrats to JT Poston. Congrats to JT Poston. Won in a playoff versus Ryan Gerard. Came down. It looked like a little bit we were going to get just maybe like it honestly looked like we were going to have like a 6-way playoff there for a little bit. It looked like Gerard, Poston, Wyndham, Tommy Fleetwood was right up there. Sam Burns was right up there. Eric Cole was right up there, but then made a late bogey. Like it looked like we were in for just an old time playoff. Gerard and Poston were playing later and ended up making a couple of birdies that everyone else made down the stretch. And they both got to 12, and we did 2 holes. First hole, both kind of both easy pars. Both misses are birdie putts. And then the second time, it was pretty funny because they flare it out right. I think Gerard flares it out right. So Poston's sitting the tee, and this is where we're almost in a match play scenario, right? It's like you put it in the middle of the fairway here. You're kind of putting the pressure on the guy you're playing against to put a wedge close, because you know if you're putting the fairway here. So doesn't do that. Fucking flares it off to the left. Both of them to miss a wide open fairway. Both put it on the green, similar spots as they were before. Gerard has a long putt coming up the hill. Poston has kind of a shorter putt. Gerard ends up 3-putting. Shout out Birdie to Bogey's it, which is really his strong suit all day, was putting, kind of is what let him down. And Poston makes a 2-putt for a par and comes away with the victory. So, two not mega names. So I'll give you that if you're saying who the fuck is Ryan Gerard and JT Poston. They're not mega names of the game, right? This is not a world beater victories. We had some world beaters not far, right? I thought a little bit we were gonna maybe get a Tommy win, which would have been cool. Would have loved to see a Tommy win. It was an elevated event with a cut without. East Lake was last year, was his only PGA Tour win. So would have loved to see Tommy up there. Tommy's playing some good golf. So I would love to see. I think Tommy was not playing next week, but we'll be back. Or Tommy is playing next week, but then we'll be playing in the U.S. Open also. And does he get a U.S. Open victory this year? Does he get an Open victory this year? There's a very well that could happen, I think. Wyndham's looking really good. So Wyndham was lost at the first half of this year, or the first 3 quarters of this year. He's been playing some much better golf. He's been playing some much better golf. 5 under in the day. Finished at 11 under for the tournament. Did everything well in terms of really kind of across the board. Tee to green, so everything besides putting was fantastic, and even in putting was a stroke and a quarter over the field. So did everything well. Of the top 3, Wyndham did play the best golf of the day. Was just a little too far out of the lead. JT Poston played honestly the worst of that leaderboard up there. Was even on the day. While Gerard and everyone else was coming after him. He kind of pretty much played pretty steady Eddie going into it. So really, it's his round 2, which was 7 under 62, was really 63. Is really what won him the tournament. Was on Fridays, where he got out to a good lead and kind of was able to just play par golf today, and it wasn't really nothing like the world on fire, where everyone else kind of came to that. So, speaking of lighting the world on fire, who played well today? We had a couple guys. So again, the rookie Christopher Rattan, got his. We talked about him maybe I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago. Got his first PGA Tour win. Been playing some good golf. Christopher Rattan led the field in strokes gained today, or tied for the strokes gained in the field today. Did play the best, or top 5 of the best tee to green. Besides Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay fucking lit it up and then just putted like a dog's asshole. But the other 63s in the day were from Rattan and Alex Fitzpatrick again. Alex Fitzpatrick playing great golf in an elevated event. You go back to the articles that are written after his victory with Matt. Is just like, does Alex belong to be on this tour? It's like, hey, motherfuckers, yes, he does. Alex Fitzpatrick definitely belongs to be on this tour, especially how he's playing right now. He's playing fantastic golf, and he's making all these kind of assholes shove their just fucking nose in it right now as he continues to play fantastic golf. Shout out him. That's great to see. And then also another one, JT. So one of my favorites. JT obviously did very well. Shout out Spring Break Gang. He 6-7 under in the day. Was 5 over coming into the day to today. And again, so Justin is one of those times that Justin has the ability to just play lights out golf, and just seems like he gets in his own way on either be Thursday or Friday, and it's just not perfect, I would say, and it just ends up hurting him. So I would really love to see him. I mean, it'd be great to see him get a U.S. Open. We know he was at Aaron Hills. He's shot that famous 62. And if you ever played Aaron Hills, they have that up right as you go. They have a JT plaque on there. JT's has a U.S. Open. Does he? I think he has a U.S. Open. Yeah, he does have a U.S. He has a PGA and a U.S. Open, I think. Where did he win the U.S. Open? Whatever, I'll figure it out after the show. Let's keep her moving. So JT coming in well. I don't believe he's playing next week, but we will see him again at the Open. So, how did some of our guys do? Our main guy did not do well today. Okay, we will call that out. Jordan did not have his A game this week. Where is that golfer tab? Come on. Jordan did not have his A game this week. 71-79 plus 8 cut. Not great by him. Not a great. Both Rory and Scotty were T12. Not great weeks from them, being both being the favorites going into the tournament. But overall, not bad golf they're playing. I think Rory continues his stretch of kind of playing weird golf where he seems like he's not super locked in as he's been. And same thing with Scotty, where it just does not seem like it's as he's up there, right? There was a lot of top 10s this year, but just not a lot of closing the doors. And it really comes down to his putter. His putter is just not as hot as it's been in the years past. He's still striking the ball fantastic. That's why he's still finishing in the top 10. But that mal that was just being perfect for him, it seems like it's losing a little bit of its original luster that it got a couple years ago. So we'll see. Well, fingers crossed. But I would love to see Scotty obviously get a U.S. Open. That would complete the Grand Slam for Scotty, which would be very cool to do it this year after Rory McIlroy do it. That'd be kind of funny. So we were obviously rooting for Scotty. This is a Scotty Scheffler show. We will see what he does. Going under our picks, not a good week for me. Okay, we're going to go really quick because I don't want to talk about it. 0-4. Okay, we were 0-4 this week. That's not good. We have to get better. We will get better. We are moving on because I don't want to spend time talking about my picks because it makes me sad. We are off to RBC. We are off to Canada. We are off to Canadian Open off in Royal Toronto Golf Club, or TPC Toronto, I think, one of them. Another non-elevated event, so don't go rushing to your TVs this weekend. Book some golf for this weekend. Just if you're a golf fan, you probably don't have to watch this one. I got you, okay? I got you. You know that this show will watch it for you. I will watch the weekends. I'll watch the recaps on Thursday nights just for you guys. You know what? Just for you guys. That's how much I like you guys. So I got you there. We will recap the RBC Canadian Open last week. It's a weak field. So shout out your boy because we have only 4 of the top 10 playing in it this week, so it's not super good. But I did have a good picks week. I did some research. I did some strong research this week, okay? And I think we have some okay picks coming into it. So, Wyndham Clark, okay? Wyndham's been playing some great golf. I like where he's in. Top 5, Sam Burns. Sam Burns also playing some fantastic golf. TPC Toronto is known for its not impossible greens, and I like Sam Burns, his putting stats. I love Sam Burns this week. Same thing with Tommy. Tommy Mann's been playing some good golf also, and I like Tom top 10s this week. Not playing great golf. There's some value, but I think he's really close to breaking through as Brooks Koepka, seeming like he was getting his sea legs back under him on the PGA Tour, and I really think he's due to have a good week, and maybe it's kind of pre-U.S. Open this week, not getting into some of these elevated events that has to just piss him the fuck off. So we'll see. To make the cut, we are taking Lowry and Brooks and Alex and Matt. So I wasn't able to. They didn't have that on the app to parlay that yet, but that's got to be some good plus money right there for you guys. So Shane Lowry, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Fitzpatrick, and Matthew Fitzpatrick to make the cut this week is my to make the cut bet. So shout out that. I think that will be I don't know. It's not going to be great. Okay, I'll be the first one to say it. I'm not sure how much I'll watch live. Well, what if I know I'm playing? If it's raining, okay. If it's raining, we will watch a lot on Thursday and Friday. But it's hard if there's gonna be F1. There's the Cubs. It's gonna be on TV too. Okay, I can tell you guys that it's on. Okay, I have 3 TVs downstairs, so I can watch all the sports for you guys. But it's probably gonna be on TV too. Okay, and it was on TV too this week. Okay, it's on TV too. Okay, if it's, it's just how it goes. Okay, if you want to come at me for the golf being on TV too, that's fair, okay? I see you. I understand you, and I will fight you, okay? We can meet at the park's right there, okay? Choose your weapon. I got a bicycle tire, okay? Or bicycle chain, just like Dwight from The Office, and I'm going to be spinning around. And if you want to fight, we can fight. I don't want to, okay? That's not what I want to do, but I will. I will, okay? Just because, we like a good bicycle tire fight, okay? And why? And I don't really know, okay? So, shout out golf, and shout out, we will be watching more of them. Shout out the Cubbies. Well, first sponsored by cocktails. Shout out cocktails. So Cubbies again, 2 nights in a row. Sunday Night Baseball they're on, and shout out Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. It's been pretty good. I was a kid of the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball days, so was really familiar with that. But NBC's been pretty good. I think I haven't watched a ton of other things, but I think they put some local people on. One of our local guys is on here, and I think one of the San Francisco local guys is on there also. Kind of a cool way to do it. Kind of get both sides of the coin. And then they have some of the players. They have Rizzo that's been on here too. I don't know if I don't think Rizzo's on every week. I think it's just when the Cubs are doing it. So kind of cool there for players to do it. So shout out Sunday Night Baseball. The Cubs just are not great right now. It's just, we may not have as world beater of a team as we originally thought. Okay, I will say that. We maybe originally thought that we had some just absolutely dynamo pitching, some dynamo talent. I don't know if we have that, to be honest with you guys. We cannot hit the baseball, okay? Our pitching's been fine. Ben Brown's been great. Hassad's been great. The bullpen, honestly, has been great. Palencia's been great when he's been given the chances. But we just can't hit the ball for a fucking nickel or a dime right now. It's sad. It's depressing. We have to, and we must get better at it. I don't know how that fixes right now, because it just seems like a lot like last year when we were in the playoffs and just the bats went cold. Kyle Tucker was like kind of broken hand or some fucking bullshit, and we just could not hit for the living dick of us right now. And it seems like we're going to a similar spot, and I don't love that. I do not love that. So only picked up another 2 wins this week as we were trying to get our 3rd tonight. PCA has been playing the better. The Giants beat the fucking doors off us. The only bright side this week has been PCA. We did have a walk-off this week. PCA was getting his shit called in. Did come in, did respond, hit a home run. So PCA is playing some good baseball this week. But overall, the team is not, I would say, it's some high-ass level right now where we're fucking cruising. I would say the 10-game win streak I came down here and I was like, buddy, we might not win. We might not lose a game, right? When we were 10 straight, we looked like we couldn't be beaten. We were sweeping everybody. Swept the D-backs, took 2 or 3 from the Padres. But just, not great. We're seem very, very far from where we were 4 shows ago, being the best team in baseball. It seems like forever ago now that we were just absolutely letting people up. So, you're getting slightly, I wouldn't say sad Cubs Kyle right now. It's just like, Cubs Kyle right now. Because I think we have the pieces, but but I don't know if they're going to be able to, like, we have the chess pieces, but I don't know if they're going to be pawns or they're fucking rooks and bishops. And we might be fucking trying to win a chess match with a bunch of pawns, which can be done if you're playing idiots, but when you start playing good people that know how to play chess, you're going to get your shit kicked. And it seems like that's what's been going on with the team. So we shall see what goes on in the next couple of weeks. I would love to continue talking about how great the Cubs are rather than them being one of the worser is not a great word, or a word. One of the bottom teams of the NL Central, and honestly bottom teams of the NL right now, losing to some dog water teams. We'll see if they can turn it around. I hope they turn it around. I don't think Craig's coaching for his job just yet. I think if we have a terrible year this year, or we don't really turn it around this year, next year at this time we'd be doing coaching for his job. But overall, I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to play baseball next year anyways. So, but something's got to turn. It's too early to start, scoreboard watching, looking where everyone else is at. But we have plenty of time to still turn it around this year. But it's just something needs to come alive because it's just been, and I hope PCA can be the one to do it. So, shout out Cubbies. Where else do we want to go next? I have something else we're going to go that I can get mad at. I have something else that I think we're going to finish with. NBA Finals. So we talked about a little bit pre-NBA Finals about Knicks Spurs. I said I'm rooting for the Knicks, and Knicks are up 2-0 right now. I think the series is over. I think I will proclaim Knicks in 4 or 5. I think by this time next week we will be celebrating. New York will be celebrating a Knicks championship, and yes, so will I. Because I picked it, so that means I'm right. So I will definitely take that. So they seem like the better team. I think his name's Josh Hart. They were talking a shit ton about in Game 1 where he just didn't score a fuck ton of points, but had assists and steals and blocks and you name it. Was doing it on the defensive and the kind of helping offensive side, and not a ton of rebounds, and wasn't stat in the pat in terms of dropping 40 on the game. Could have dropped 40 if he wanted to, because I think he was like 3 or 6. They said, but was just playing one of those great games. So I think the Knicks are the better team, and I would be surprised if they don't win. So we shall see in the next week. But shout out NBA Finals. That's been a fun one to watch, and I think Game 3 is tomorrow night. Movie of the week. I've had a great new show that I got for you guys, okay? Apple TV for All Mankind, okay? If you have not seen this, go watch this show on Apple TV. If you like space at all, this is the show for you, okay? I'll set the show for you. The premise of the show, what we have right now is if 60 something, 63 when we went to the moon, the Soviets beat us to the moon, and then the space race never stops. And how that impacts the world of events, where we go from trying to just get to the moon to colonizing the moon, trying to go to other planets, trying to colonize other planets, to do the resources out there, how that brings up some of the interpersonal dynamics of people living on the different planet, during the moon, different planets. Absolutely fantastic. Right now, I have absolutely binge watched the hell out of this week, so I'm through. I think, I might be through like 4 seasons already this week, so that's like 40 hours of TV that I watched this week, so that's tough. That's tough by me. First 2 seasons, chef's kiss. That's kind of what I think the new show Star City is based on. It's the Russian point of view from the first couple seasons also that they're doing right now. It slows down a little bit with the 3rd and the 4th season, and then the first season seems a little bit slower also. It seems we're getting less and less space travel and more people bitching at each other. So not like it's a bad show, still good, but definitely give it a watch. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Okay? 9 out of 10 for All Mankind. Ed Baldwin, is who I want to be when I grow up. He's just a badass astronaut, and they do a great job on that show. With there's a lot of time jumps between the seasons, so they do a great job in showing some of these characters as older men until they were full of piss and vinegar at 22, and now that they're 65 and 70-year-old men, what some of that is. And I think the second season of that show is some of the better TV that I've watched. I know, like I've said multiple times, I watch so much movies and TV that it's like sometimes it's just background noise, and I know it's good if I like stop when I stop editing. I'm like, oh shit, you're supposed to be editing, dumbass. Like back to editing. So then that was with this show. So For All Mankind, Apple TV, give it a watch. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. It was a fantastic show. If you have any other recommendations for the shows, shout them out. Okay, shout them out, because I am all in for them. All in for shows this week. Because we're gonna go on to our next topic, and I don't want to get this mad. So let me take a drink, okay? I usually cut out the drinking part of this because you guys don't want to see this, but I want you guys to see. I need to have a little cocktails in me before this next subject. Our last and final topic, which will include our Crumb, will be the Chicago Bears football team. Okay, I would say probably the highest and lowest I've been in the Bears in a week, in a long, long, long time. Okay, the excitement and pure joy I felt earlier in the week when Caleb Williams was announced as a Madden cover is something that only a little kid I could compare it to. Is I remember how much I stared at Madden as a kid, how much those games meant to me, how many hours I spent playing Madden, and for it to be my fucking quarterback on the cover of Madden brought me so much joy, okay? That I know that there is kids out there that are going to get to be in high school right now. I have family that's going to be a freshman in high school right now, the age that I was when I was addicted to playing Madden, okay? And we get to have a cover athlete. We get to forever have a cover quarterback athlete. And not just, we don't have a Peyton Hillis cover athlete, right? We have a fucking cool quarterback athlete, right? There hasn't been a cool quarterback athlete on there, right? There's been a lot of fucking loser quarterbacks on there. We haven't had a cool quarterback on there for a minute, right? So it's awesome, right? It's awesome. I'm beyond ecstatic for Caleb also. I think that's so great for him in his career. I think it just does great things for his brand, just as a person. And I love to see, hopefully, that brings him some more money. So next time he comes for a contract, he can do a little bit of the Tom Brady, saying like, no, I would rather win than make $1 billion here. I can make enough money by hopefully Gucci and fucking all this other shit that he's in because he's a fucking star. So go make a fuck ton of money doing that. Go meet some model that you're some, and be married to her just like Tom did, so you can take a little bit of a home discount for us. But I want to see Caleb happy. That's the number one goal, really, of my life right now, right? I would say, besides my family and my personal life, my number one goal is to ensure Caleb Williams is good, right? And if I see someone in his comments blowing him up, right? Like, it's our fucking job to defend our quarterback, okay? And it's not on the field, it's off the field, right? Like, that's our fucking job. He has given us that shit, okay? We owe it to him to be insane, okay? That's what he deserves, okay? To be insane about how great he is, okay? Someone tells you he's okay, tell that person to suck your fucking dick. He is the best quarterback in the league. He's going to be the MVP of this league very soon. He's going to take the Chicago Bears to a Super Bowl. He is the fucking Iceman, okay? So that is where I was at, come Thursday, okay, right? Just on the top of the fucking moon, thinking about the Bears, thinking about Madden, thinking about the fucking Packers fans loading up Madden, and it probably being fucking Caleb throwing a fucking dot, and I remember the Rodgers game, and him having to fucking, or maybe it's not the Rodgers game, but there was a Rodgers pass in one of the games. I think there was maybe the 12 game that was in the intro that was a Rodgers pass, and it's just like, ugh. I know how much I fucking hated that, and I love that there's another generations now of Packers fans, of other fans that are going to have to get that same way. So, right, jubilation, pure bliss, right? Just beyond nostalgic happiness is what I was, Wednesday, maybe, Then the stadium news breaks. And the stadium news continues to just be just a fucking piece of shit motherfucking catastrophe. And excuse my French, but fucking suck a dick, Kevin Warren. Holy good guacamole in my fucking fuckity fuck. It's like, dude, get your head out of your small, tiny little asshole, because it's clearly been absolutely ran through, and you are taking the Bears away from the city of Chicago, Illinois. Okay? I'm trying to remain calm by this, because I'm trying not to get worked up, because I know you don't want to listen to me fucking scream like a crazy person. But essentially, the Bears have been going back and forth with Arlington Heights and Hammond. Okay, Kevin Warren was brought in 3 years ago to essentially build the new stadium. What else has he done? Fucking nothing. We've paid him millions of dollars to do fucking nothing. The worst, absolute worst money the Bears have ever spent in their entire life. He said we should honestly sue Kevin Warren for every dollar that he's stolen from the franchise. Okay, and he has just kicked fucking dirt around for 3 years, saying we're going to do Arlington. It's like, no, we're going to do Hammond. No, we're going to do Arlington. It's like, and then just bitch about how Arlington's not giving them, Illinois is not working on them enough. And then Illinois politicians coming out and saying, no, we're trying to work with them, and Kevin Warren is being a fucking dickhead. So it's like, who is being right? It's like, well, there's probably a little bit of both sides of correct, and it's probably the truth. And I would imagine it's coming out now that Kevin Warren's just a fucking piece of shit that could absolutely care less about the fans. He wants one thing only, and it's to get the Bears as low a taxes as possible in a new stadium. He does not care at all who gets fucked in the asshole in the process. If it's the fans, better. If it's the brand can stay okay, and it's just fucking over a subset of your season ticket holders, we'll find new ones. He doesn't give a shit. Okay, it's simple dollars and cents, and I'm sure they've had a financial guy come in and say, hey, we will lose X dollars, but we will gain X dollars. And that calculation is done in a lot of corporations where it say, you know what, the upside's okay. We know we can lose, but in 3 to 5 years, all these projects are going to start paying for themselves. We can take the hit. Also, the fans will come back, and they'll probably put their name back on the fucking season ticket holder list, the ones that have half of them that gave it up, right? They know that. So they know they have us bent over the barrel, and they know they can just fucking use us essentially as pawns right now. We are being used as simple pawns in Kevin Warren's fucked up stadium game right now, because he thinks you're all so incredibly dumb. And we are. And I'm doing it right now, right? I'm overreaction, because what he wants is to keep the Bears in Chicago or Arlington Heights. That's what they want. But he knows he has to piss off the fans enough to then that will go after the Illinois government so that they can get a better deal, because the court of public opinion is going to be much better for you if they're on your side rather than their side. And the Bears are throwing their hands up saying, oh, simply we can't pay taxes. We can't, as a $1 billion corporation, we can't simply pay taxes. That'd be crazy. Like, well, what do taxes go towards? Schools, firefighters, police. there's probably some bullshit. Yes. Like, yeah, is there wasteful government spending? Yes, that's another conversation. If you want to have that, surely we can have that, a wasteful government spending corporation as problem. But that's a different problem, right? Tax dollars do go towards some things that are good, right? And if you're going to argue that point with me, you don't have a brain, right? If you're saying that there is not a dime of tax dollars that are used for good, you're not living in the real world, right? That there are simply government programs that are good for cities. There simply are government programs that are good for the underprivileged. There simply are great programs that are out there for the police, the firefighters. Do you want fucking anarchy in the streets? Do you want to have no police departments? I would like police departments, okay? So that's not paid by private citizens, right? That's paid through tax dollars. And government corporations make a fuck ton of money. And they print money. So why should they not have to pay? I'm not saying to pay they shouldn't pay. They should make a fuck ton of money. That's fully fine to make money. But they should not be paying. They should not have the deal they get to pay zero taxes because they're going to let 50 waiters and 50 people kind of work in the underneath of Soldier Field where they pay their players billions of dollars to run around there. And it's like, whoa, hold on. We did pay the laundry guy and we paid the guy. There's people that got jobs. Well, they would probably have jobs otherwise. So that argument doesn't hold a fuck ton of water with me because you're not like you're creating a bunch of high-paying jobs, okay? You're creating unskilled labor jobs, right? You're not making this up and you're saying, hey, you know what? We're creating this. We're going to have a fuck ton of high level, high skill, highly trained jobs. Like, no, you're going to pay these people below minimum wage and they're going to be happy to have a job. And that's what you think. And that's the argument they're going to use to create, right? And that's the fucking bullshit. And they'll throw the stats on how many jobs this is going to create in the area and the economic boom that's going to do. And it's really what all it's doing. It's allowing the Bears to move to a place that they're getting very little income taxes, and then they can gentrify an entire region for free. So Indiana is saying, hey, we're fine. It would cost us $5 billion to develop that area. We can just give the Bears a $1 billion tax break, and the area will be developed kind of itself. So we could spend $5 billion to develop it, or we could give a $1 billion tax break and let the giant corporation and then let the fans develop the area. It's not terrible business from that wise, right? Because it is smart. You will have natural runoff of hotels, of restaurants, of fucking Dick's Sporting Goods, of selling fucking goddamn seat warmers, right? And fucking propane tanks for a parking lot. You're gonna have a runoff economy wherever the stadium is, and that's going to go wherever. What they know they have is that they know that they can use that as a simple chess piece that they can move to the Bears, and the Bears can play this. And right now, they know that they're doing good business, right? I can't argue against some of the business they're doing, right? And I can't argue if I was in Kevin Warren's position. I would do things a ton better. But which is infuriating is that on their rankings of who they're willing to fuck over, the first person is the fans. Is to use the fans as a simple pawn to just let them react and do what I'm doing right now. To spend half an hour trying to react, and I recorded an episode of this the other day, and I watched it back, and I legitimately would have been put in prison if that was released, okay? Because I was just screaming into the microphone for half an hour. That person should be put in an insane asylum, like is what I looked like the other day, okay? So I've tried to think about this a little more thoroughly in a couple days. And I just have honestly come down to it sucks, the world we're in right now, that the absolute greed of so many outweighs the want of the greed of the few outweigh the want of the many. Is what the world we're in right now. And that, honestly, you could apply that. I'm spouting off some of my, liberal bullshit right now. But that is some of the world we're in right now, where the 0.01% owns 99% of the wealth, right? So and we're not that different, right? It's not that different when we're talking about the Bears Stadium and the billionaires that are playing tummy sticks with the Bears Stadium and Illinois government, Indiana government, and Arlington Heights right now. And I'm sick of being one of the sticks that they're playing within each other. They're fucking playing tummy sticks with their fans. And so I'm at the point where I have calmed down. I understand. It is going to mentally make me so. It's just gonna make me sad. It's where I've come down to. It's that I will be mad for a period, and I will be apathetic for a period. But it will come down to that for the rest of my life, I'll drive down to Soldier Field. I'll drive into the city of Chicago, and we'll think about the Bears. And maybe Hammond will expand. Maybe we'll still go to those games. But it is a question mark is where it seems like it was not as much of a question mark as the other one does. So it honestly has come to the point of apathy and sadness. And what it turns into, I really hope, is that it doesn't turn into me just falling out of love with the Bears and the football, right? Because I love the team. I've loved the team for a long time. But it seems like to me, a canon event like this would be a reason to decide to change how you look at things. Because when something like this happens, it's like, shit. What does? Do I really give a shit? Like you get so pissed off, and it's like, does this matter? At the end of the day, like why do I care this much? So it just makes you apathetic to the entire thing. I've went on long enough. We will go on. I've rambled on long enough. This has been a long enough show now. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is a great show. Shout out golf. Shout out F1. Shout out the Cubs. We have had a shit ton of sports this week that are, obviously, you can guess it, Crumb. Don't have to say it. I think it goes without saying, Kevin Warren. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We will be back next week to talk recap of the Canadian Open, to recap Barcelona Grand Prix, and then to do a slight preview of the U.S. Open. And then the week after that, remember, we will have our full major week again. We will have on Monday, we will have this is now 2 Mondays from now. We have our full podcast. We will have my preview show of playing Shinnecock in 2K25. We will have a major preview show on Wednesday or Tuesday, playing Shinnecock Wednesday, and then we'll have major reaction shows Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the full podcast Sunday. So big week in 2 weeks. Shout out. I'm already started preparing today for Shinnecock, doing some research, trying to put a good show together for everyone. So there's a lot that will be going into that for the next 2 weeks. I think that's all. So shout out, you guys. Peace. Thanks for watching.